game, but that was something else. Just because they're going on, there's so many celebrities on the sideline. I can remember Lee Corso just running down the sideline with the teams, doing whatever he does. But so much fun that, and then it was the year before that the Final Four was held there, and I got to work those games. And that may be my favorite memory, just because there was so many events going on. It was basically 5 days of work at that stadium, working 10, 12 hours, but so much fun and just great fans, just great atmosphere. If you ever get the chance to go to one of those, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I did. I've been to 2 Cowboy games in AT&T Stadium. I haven't been to a college game there yet. That's one of my goals, but to travel with coaching, it's a little tough during my season to be able to travel and go to a game. But AT&T Stadium is a great place to watch a game.
Yeah, the college games Cowboys games are loud. Don't get me wrong, but college games, if they're packed, if you've got USC, you've got Alabama, whoever else is coming in, it's one of the loudest things you'll hear, and it does get pretty loud. And we've had LSU in there, TCU's played there, and a lot of teams have played. Texas years ago played in there, but we've had a lot of teams come in there to play, and obviously the Big 12 championship, that's a big one for them, and then obviously the Cotton Bowl, that's a huge game for them. So it's a great place to watch college football.
Yeah, so that's definitely on my list to check out, is getting to a college game there. You said the Final Four was your favorite event to work at AT&T Stadium. Have you worked in many other stadiums or traveled a lot?
Really, no. I haven't. We actually, UTA basketball, we went up and played Oregon this year in November, and we played them on a Sunday night. We got in early enough Saturday where our coach, hey, let's go ahead and buy some group tickets, and we went to go see Oregon take on Arizona. We watched the first half with our basketball team the day before we played. And that was my first time in University of Oregon Stadium. Beautiful, gorgeous. But as far as working in other stadiums, not really. It's pretty much been DFW Central for me. I haven't. Yeah, my outside of baseball, my outside of DFW Stadium list is pretty small, unfortunately.
Well, it keeps you so busy, and you've done so many events there. What is your favorite non-sporting event that you've worked?
In February, when I got the chance, before I started doing basketball, Monster Jam rolled there. I didn't get to run Monster Jam, but then motocross was the next week. And motocross is a huge draw, and we got to work that event, and that was an unbelievable amount of fun and a little bit of danger. We were right on the starting line, and we were in charge of the post-game victory interviews for the big screen. That was an absolute ton of fun. That's still, I guess, kind of sports. Haven't worked many non-sport events there, just because typically when concerts roll around, they have their own crew that comes in, and they don't necessarily need the video board. One of the favorite events I ever went there as a fan was no doubt WrestleMania. I'm not a huge wrestling guy anymore, but the WrestleMania there, I believe that was 2016, was out of this world. It accomplished a lot of dreams of finally seeing a Stone Cold Stunner in person.
Oh, shoot. Which WrestleMania is that? What WrestleMania is that? Is that 30? Or 30?
They just had it on ESPN.
So
like last Sunday night, they replayed it.
That's third.
I think it was like 31 or 20.
Who was the? I am a big wrestling guy. Yeah. Who was the main event of that? Do you remember the main event?
It was it Triple H and Undertaker?
No.
Or Triple H and Roman Reigns?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm gonna Google it.
30 was Triple H Reigns. Triple H is champ. Reigns beats him. Yeah, I mean WrestleMania is tomorrow. Oh, sorry, they're doing a 2-day deal now. They're doing part 1 tomorrow and then part 2 on Sunday in an empty performance center. So that's gonna be crazy.
There was a famous wrestler that died in this arena. Josh, who was it, guys?
It was Owen Hart.
WrestleMania 32 was the one in Dallas.
Yes.
So 32. So
it was Triple H Reigns was the main event.
Reigns wins the belt, and everyone's kind of like, all right, I guess.
The alleged attendance was 101,763.
Gosh.
There was a lot of people. Let me tell you that right now. A lot of people.
Was that pretty fun? It was pretty fun, though.
Yeah, because we had standing room seats, and we got there at 5 o'clock, and we felt like we were already super late. And standing room, you couldn't really see anything. You could watch the video boards, but Luckily enough, the guy I went with had a friend, and we necessarily got to go to a place that we necessarily didn't have tickets for, and we had a pretty good look at the ring. So we'll take what we can get, and we had a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, me and Gary, we've always wanted to do WrestleMania. And
we've been to several wrestling events. Yeah, we've been to a pay-per-view that was here in Kansas City. Been to a SmackDown. Had ringside tickets a few years ago.
Yeah,
over at the Sprint Center.
That was Raw.
SmackDown.
That was Raw.
Yeah, one of them.
We went to SmackDown too, though.
Yeah, we went to a pay-per-view in this building back in the day, and yeah, this building that we record in is where Owen Hart fell from the rafters and unfortunately passed away.
My brother was a huge fan. That kind of got me into it. And I remember that day. I remember he told me, and wow. So yeah, no, I
it was crazy.
Very well. But
it's almost a year ago.
That was my first wrestling event, and it was fun. I'd love to go back. Like I said, I'm not into it as much anymore, but it was. I knew the minute when they announced it, like, man, that's probably going to be one to go to. That you probably should. You don't want any sports regret on this one, and I'm really glad I did it.
So you were just there as a fan, like you got tickets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, standing room only. Yeah, and standing room only wasn't too bad. I think it was around $30.
Oh, really?
So we just kind of walked around for a little bit, and yeah, I mean, it was. They told. I mean, just like that opening gift for the Cowboys when they opened up, they sold way more standing room seats than they probably should have. But that's how they got the attendance record. So
yeah,
it was fun to be at.
How does it feel? I mean, I know it's probably old to you now, but being one of the people that puts the video on that famous video board, that's got to feel pretty cool. I bet you don't ever get a chance to look up there and see it because you're underneath it, but it's got to feel pretty cool.
Well, the various roles, that I've worked with, I remember the first time that they told me, hey, go make sure this camera's working. And so I go up to the 50-yard line cameras on the on the third or fourth level, and hey, that's my shot. Hey, check it out. And I remember I can remember the first time they let me run a camera instead of carrying batteries or rolling cable. And I remember I think it was halftime of a college game, and I'm shooting one of the bands. Obviously the bands come out at halftime and do their thing. And I remember I got a couple shots of a trumpet player or whatever, and I'm looking up like, hey, that's my shot. Look at all the people watching me now. Yeah, obviously it's a little different now. But I do remember those times where the hearts beat faster and like, man, that's me. There's not a whole lot of people that have gotten to do this, so kind of take it and try and enjoy it. And one thing I do look around before every Cowboys game is whenever the national anthem ends and everybody cheers. I always take a look around and just like, man, this is pretty awesome. This is a cool place to be at. So I never take it for granted. Like I said, very very lucky, and everything fell in the right place. And it's just, and the people you work with make it again. And just camera guys, they can be some of the funnest guys you can ever work with, and that's what makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the virus stuff we got going right now, I don't think anybody's taking anything for granted, and it's kind of cool to when it does all finally come back, it'll make us appreciate sports even more than we already love. Than we already loved it. So this is going to put everything in big perspective. I know it already has for me, where I'm like, man, when everything comes back, I'm going to really enjoy a lot of things I'm missing right now. So,
yeah, and they've actually, they've had a lot of segments on our local radio station. You go back to World War II, Kennesaw Mountain. I believe the commissioner of the time wrote a letter to President Roosevelt, and it's like, man, should I cancel baseball? And he's like, no, you're essential. America needs baseball. And so I think we're kind of in a similar situation. It's a little different situation, obviously, but yeah, you really look back, because these last 2-3 weeks have just felt like an eternity, just because there's no sports. There's nothing to look forward to right now. And so, I honestly feel like if nothing would have changed, we're already in May at this point, just the way time has slowed down, it seems. But it's only crazy that this only happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and how much you do actually miss sports, and how much you don't necessarily rely on it, but, it's in your head. You every night, every day you wake up, and, you're thinking about something with sports, something's going to be on TV, and it makes you miss it even more.
Well, for you and I especially, we do rely on it, and that's where our paychecks come from, and the sports and entertainment world has taken a big hit.
Yeah, my friends who work in the American Airlines Center with the Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Stars, they've went out. Those employees, I think that's an awesome gesture. Obviously they're still hurting for work, but because once those the season, if it would have continued, dries up, then that's going to be it. And nobody really knows what the future holds. So, no, like I said earlier, I know a lot of people that are going through some hard times right now, and things are just a little weird. But it's such an industry, financial, and then there's so much that goes into hosting a sporting event, from servers and waitresses to, just everything about it. A stadium, it's its own business, and there's so much that goes into it, and a lot of people rely on that money.
Name your Texas teams, your favorite Texas teams in order.
I think no doubt
number one.
We start with the Dallas Stars. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. I think my favorite sport is probably football or basketball, but I think my favorite team is no doubt the Dallas Stars. Big Dallas Stars. When you move over to the Rangers, the Cowboys, you have a 2A, a 2, and a 2A. And then, you put the Dallas Mavericks in there as well. Obviously, it's Luka Magic right now as far as the Dallas Mavericks go, just because it's a whole new situation for them. Then you got to put FC Dallas. I got to rep my home teams as well. There are other teams outside the Metroplex I like, but no doubt the number one is the great Dallas Stars.
Dallas. You know what? That's surprising to me. But I've heard that once you get into hockey, it's like an addiction.
It's kind of like NASCAR.
Well, you got to go to a game.
Yeah.
A game. That's one. And I think once you go to a game, then I think your perspective is going to change a lot. Several years ago, the Dallas Stars, they actually played preseason games up there in Kansas City. There's been a couple of them. They play games up in Tulsa. And so the preseason hockey is kind of trying to expand a little bit. There maybe years from now there could be a Kansas City team. I don't know. They got the Seattle franchise rolling. You never know. But I remember seeing that actually the year I was in Kansas City. It was that next October that the Stars played a preseason game. I want to say it was against Florida up there in Kansas City. Power and Light did something. Man, that'd be a real fun time.
Well,
obviously,
not
able to make it up there. But yeah,
the first ever pro franchise that ever played in Kemp Arena, now Hy-Vee Arena, was the Kansas City Scouts hockey team, NHL team.
There you go. So maybe it'll make a return someday.
That was an NHL team?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Scouts?
First ever.
I don't know nothing about that. And now I feel like I need to look them up. All right, so we'll go. We do a question for everybody. And we maybe you're not familiar with Kansas City barbecue. So you can refer to maybe like a Dallas spot, but we always like to ask everybody what their favorite barbecue is. And I will say this: if you have a favorite Kansas City one, when you were here, whatever, that's cool. You can say that one. You can also give us a Dallas one too, because I'm interested in that. Because me and Gary like to make our way down to Dallas every once in a while. So give us your take on best barbecue.
That is probably one thing. That's another regret there is I never got – everyone says go to Jack Stack's, and then there's a couple other kind of hole-in-the-wall places that you need to go to. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go up there to Kansas City. I have had Kansas City barbecue before. It tends to be a little sweeter than what you have down here in Texas. Not a bad thing. I think it's really good. Down in Texas, there's a couple places. There's one place that just opened up here in Arlington. There's one in Fort Worth. There's one in Dallas, and there's too many. There really is. There's every city has their own, and I think if you are to come down, I think you're gonna have to say, hey, what city are you in? Then I'll point you in the right direction. But there's good barbecue all around down here, and just like Kansas City, there's good barbecue all around up there. So unfortunately I can't give you a name. I've never been to Jack Stack's. I hear everybody goes to Jack Stack's, and if you named off a couple right now, I'm sure. Oh yeah, I've heard that one. Go to that one. Go to that one. But yeah, it's obviously a staple up there. It's a staple down here too.
Yeah, we do try to get to Dallas. At least every couple of years. We got a good friend that lives in actually the city of Dallas. He used to live up in what was that city up north, like Louisville.
Probably thinking Plano.
Louisville.
Yes, just
he used to live there, but now he lives in the city of Dallas. But so yeah, we try to get down there, and so we may need to hit you up when we come down again and say, hey, where's a barbecue spot we need to check out?
Yeah, if you go to Fort Worth, it's Han Barbecue. If you come to Arlington, right down the road, Hurtado Barbecue. They just opened up, and if you go to Dallas, Pecan Lodge. That's my 3 votes right there.
Okay,
so like I said, they're everywhere.
Yeah, sweet. And if you make it up here, make sure to get some Jack Stack. And Arthur Bryant's is really good. Kansas City Joe's is really good. Woodyard is really good.
That's what it is. Yes. Yeah,
Oklahoma Joe's is what it was.
Yeah. So, lots of good barbecue.
Yeah.